What's going on YouTube? In front of you guys, I have a 33rd place deck Pro 5 for San Diego Regional. What do you play today?
I played orcust.
Orcust?
Yeah.
What's so cool about your Orcust?
I think it's the best deck because from the testing and the matchups that I thought were going to be, which were correct, we Solomon Great, Striker, all that, this is easy, just destroys them.
Let's start.
So, 2 Orcust Nightmare. You need 2 because if you draw 1, it kind of fucks your combo. Symbol Skeleton. I missed having a second one, but theoretically in the deck you don't ever want to have play the 2. It's really bad. The 2 Harp is good because you're playing the 1/1, and if you actually draw this, you have the chance of, with Orcust the Nightmare, sending the Dark Machine. This is your target instead of this being it. This would summon your skeleton. That way you have 1 extra extender. Also, this helps make Time Thief Redoer, which is really good against the matchups I said earlier. And then the normal summon of the deck, Space Connector. Really good. You can get rid of hand traps. If you see their hand, you can possibly get rid of 2 by summoning Connector and then using Neospace and a Danger or some other extender, tributing, and then summoning from grave and then activating again. Or if the monster is too strong in hand, like 1900 lower, you can make a Phoenix and that's enough to pop. Or because all the dangers, 1200 is Nessie, 1300 Tsuchinoko. They're all too weak to activate his effect on him, but that's usually enough. And if it's Lancia, it doesn't really matter because he's just gonna chain it anyway.
So it also good like seeing your opponent hands.
Yeah, because it allows you, because even if they Lancia you, it allows you to prepare for the next turn, which a lot of times I did get Lancia'd, and I was still able to win. Here you go.
So the PK?
Yeah, the PK, you don't need anymore. These are really cool. His effect actually did come up today. It's pretty cool. 6 standards. These are I put these a little lower on the list. Like I didn't play Armageddon. I didn't play Sky Blaster because they're strictly starters and extender/starters. So Grepher is a card you can draw later, a card you can start your combo with, and extend later. Same thing with Destrudo. I typically did not make him for part of the combo, but for making the board in order to OTK. I never paid half my life knowing that I would just pass my turn and possibly die. So it's a big misconception that people don't want to play this because you paid half your life. This helps make Time Thief Redoer as well, and this is just really good.
Nice.
3 Tsuchinoko,
3 danger engines.
Yeah, these are the 3 essential, and for future reference, I would play probably more dangers because in every game that I went second, and they set up the full board of Solomon Gray or like Pendulum, Striker, anything, as long as I saw dangers in my hand, I was winning the game every single time. And then just 2 Ash, we main the 2 Ash. This is the most relevant hand trap. Having Ash in the main is indicative of a format where every deck is susceptible to just ending their turn or reducing their entire power by like 50% just from 1 negation. So we're at 2 because the side deck utilizes more a combination of different hand traps, along with my second card that I play, which is Phantasme. I play 3 in the main. And the reason the main is because this is a hybrid deck where you can go first and second, and typically in the matchups like Solomon Great, or even the mirror match too, or Striker, this always comes to play. Like I would never side this card out for any reason. This is always in the main deck every single time, and it comes to play every single time. And the targeting is very, very relevant right now because almost every single card in the meta targets, and this just like stops all that. It's a border like for all the meta decks. It's really good to main that. I don't regret like putting that inside or anything. Just generic spells. I only run the 3, the Foolish Burial for Destrudo. The Reinforcement of the Army, I got deck check for that one. Of course, you gotta see Neospace Connector. This is why the 40 card version is better. The Field Spell is insane because it allows you to play in your opponent's turn, and this is what allows you to win under Lancia. So when you get Lancia, depending on your hand, you basically set up your field so that you could play on your opponent's standby phase. And you can typically still set up a negate. And Rusty, if you have enough extenders, you can set up a Rusty with a Galatea. It's possible, and you can still win. And then I main the 2 Twin Twisters. Again, this is another card that I would almost never take out unless I was playing like some rogue thing, like I played against Prank Kids. That was probably the only time I ever took this out, because I know that matchup really well. You need a lot of extenders to beat them. But Twins was really good. And then 3 Colorado Grave, you need your plays to go through every single time. And again, this is relevant against the meta right now with Ray, Phalanx or Valynx, whatever it's called. And then of course the mirror match.
And the hand trap, and it's also the hand trap.
Yeah. So it's kind of like a little mini decode. I mean DD Crow. I was gonna say decode Tiger. 2 Fog, and the 1 Shade. This is strictly for comboing into, like, this is a card that you just keep in your deck, kind of like the Strudo, kind of like the Wand. You just kind of these are the ones that come out, and this is the one that helps you kill them the next turn.
Okay.
These were insane today, and again, this is why it's really relevant. These special from Grave. A lot of people always forgot today that this could banish itself and special the Shade, the Rusty, the Link Phantom Knight. Yeah, that'll be it for that. And then the last Orcust trap.
Yeah.
The Solemn Judgment.
Too strong.
Oh, another thing about this card is that you could also, people typically forget its last effect. Like my harp was DD Crowed, and I chained this to add it back to hand from banish, and then I just normal summoned it.
Wow.
And I managed to dodge around that.
It's awesome.
And for the extra deck, the Divine, this card is definitely at 2. If not, I don't think you need it at 3. But this is the MVP of the deck. It just takes care of any single problem in the entire game that could possibly happen. You just, if there's ever an issue, you just summon this and you get rid of it. You make typically when you play this deck, you set it up so that this is engraved when you special it on your turn. Getting the skeleton back underneath as material. Then you link it away from the Galateo. If you have enough extenders, you make Langrissu, and then you summon it on their turn. You typically on your first turn don't set the trap with Galatea. It's actually better to set the field spell, because this popping 2 cards, and it's just much more. It depends on the matchup. Like with Pendulum, I would do this. Striker. If you were forced to go second and you couldn't necessarily OTK them, then maybe you could set the trap, because then you just like want to ensure the next turn. And the 2 Galatea, this was insane. I was playing 3 and testing, but 2 is, if you play perfectly, 2 is all you need. And it shuffles, it specials itself from the graveyard all the time. And this is typically your stepping stone into a Langrissu. I mean Dingrissu. And then 1 Langrissu, you usually just make this turn 1, and then his effect of shuffling 2 back comes relevant a lot. You banish a lot of Orcus and you just refresh your deck. And then you always put it underneath here with the Bardiche. Is that his name? I just call him Rusty. Him pointing this way, the Dingrissu summons this way. This one is pointing at your monster's extra monster zone, your opponent's extra monster zone. So you shuffle back 2, and then you send it to the graveyard.
Awesome.
It's really good. And also it's a target for Eradicator. So is Dingrissu, but typically that's one's better to get rid of. The 2 Unicorn, this is for the grind game, but typically I don't think I made this the entire tournament. I only made the 1. I think in theory it's correct to play 2, just because you don't really go into a lot of the extra deck. Like, to win all your games, you just go to the same exact extra deck. Like, these cards here are usually the ones I just went into, and this is enough to win the game. I don't even need like another extra deck. I should just play like Extravagance. It's pretty crazy.
Nice.
And then just the Nightmare package.
Yeah, so just go up to the
to break boards going second. I usually summon if I know they have that one, the Solomon Great card that pops. You just summon that in front of the wolf, and you can get a draw, and they usually forget that it is not destroyed. It's pretty good. So when you're playing against Solomon Great, you typically want to waste this one to make a mermaid, because you want to keep this for going into the grind game. Because this deck does go into the Solomon Great grind game for like a long time. Like in all my Solomon Great matchups, I think we went into like 4 or like 5 turns. Like it was crazy. And then the Trishbania, this is pretty crazy. You just burn, and then you have so many ways of making a 3 really quickly, and then summoning underneath. The material doesn't even matter. You typically just burn everything, and a lot of people forget that it actually banishes your own spells and traps. So you can set your like Phantom Knight traps, and you actually counts as burn towards them.
So you can win in game with that.
Yeah, and a lot of times they think that they're safe because they think that, oh, I only have 2 set spells or traps on my side of the field, but it counts for yours too.
Oh, nice.
And the Rusty, you make this every single game. It's insane. Sucks that you can't use him as link material. And his attack is kind of weird. I don't know why it's 21. It's so strange, but
He's a strong card, yeah.
He's strong, but then in late game he's just like really annoying. I actually hate this guy sometimes. And then this one, this was over Underclock Taker only because this could use the token, and that was literally the only reason. The effect of tributing itself to complete a counter can, in theory, come up, but it usually if you're in that situation in the game, you're usually just winning instead of having to protect one of your cards.
Did it come up today?
Yeah, just to make a link too.
Nice.
Like I needed to get rid of the token or something.
Okay.
Yes, sometimes you have a rust. You need to get rid of one of your Phantom Knights so you can banish Engrave and activate effect. So this comes up. This card, I think I only made it once, but it in theory it's easy to make, and it's really good against. It recycles itself and it comes back. It's really good against. I think in Solomon Great.
So would you side deck anything? Like would you detect something now and put in instead of the Tam Div or the second Mermaid? Would you change S deck?
I don't know, because there's no link monster I can think of that like provides more utility than like the original, like these dudes do, because you usually just like win the game with these.
Okay.
And if you don't, then they had just a ton of negates. And if you do, if you have to like, okay, like, oh, I need more extenders of some kind, or like they're not found in link monsters. You're usually found in main deck with something like that. So there's not much you could do with the extra. I can't really think of, without summon sorcerers, it limits it what you could do with it. And then the closer, just like wins. This would win every game. This guy did so much work today. It's insane.
Nice.
Yeah, the side deck. I would just play
For the side deck, the hand trap.
the 2 bells. It was gonna be DD Crow, but I thought that this was better against certain like strategies where they like, a lot of people don't expect the first and third effect of adding from graveyard and or extra deck to hand. It came up today in Pendulum, and I activated it, and like they just couldn't do anything because they played around that they think that, oh, if my Electrum first effect doesn't get hit, then I just like I go through, and they just didn't. They like had to destroy a card themselves as cost, and they didn't get to draw, and they didn't get the card in the field, so they didn't have a scale. So they waste 3 cards just for nothing. So that's really good against that. It's really good against cards from adding from graveyard to hand, like the Solomon Great cards. It stops them from that, so it's really cool. And then the Denko, I never saw this today, but it's in theory good. You just like, if you're going against a back row deck or a striker, even Solomon Great too. But again, I never saw it, so I don't have the data to explain. It's in theory good. And then against the mirror match, this is just strictly against the mirror match, and I only saw one orcust deck today, and this card basically stopped him because he was really bad at playing that deck. So typically when you hit them with that, they just get scared and they just think like, oh, my deck sucks. And then Imperial Order, I was thinking of maining it. It would have been really interesting, but no, it's not. It was incorrect. But still, this is insane against Striker. like people like forgot about this card or something.
Yeah, winning conditions.
And against Mystic Mine, which I didn't see today, but in theory I was prepared for that with the 3 Eradicator. There's multiple targets to it, and with 3 red reboots. I don't think I sided this card ever, because I didn't play any like back row heavy decks, and I wouldn't side this in against Solomon Gray. It's not worth it. You can beat them without negating their trap and paying half your life points. It's not worth it. And that's the deck.
Awesome. Are you gonna do any shout out?